As part of our IGN First series on The Outer Worlds 2, we talk with design director Matt Singh and lead systems designer Kyle Koenig from Obsidian about how the team expanded the ways in which you can build your character. Instead of the streamlined systems of the first game, The Outer Worlds 2 gives players more room to customize their build for specific playstyles and spec into the game's unique aspects with reworked stats, perks, and traits. The flaw system has been overhauled too, which we'll dive into with another video, but first, let's get into how this sequel is embracing its RPG roots.
We really kind of focused down on making each individual level up and investment really important. We have combined a lot of the skills, but each one now has a much more significant impact per point. And we've significantly increased the number of perks we have with over 90 of them. Each of those perks requiring various skills to unlock. So as you invest in skills, it changes how you can invest in perks and leads you down many different paths for how you can build your character.
We really wanted to lean into kind of player synergies. So looking at how player traits, player skills, and perks can all infuse into interesting builds that play off of other systems. There's more than just traditional kind of my stealth-focused build or my combat-focused build or my speech-focused build. There's really a lot of blending of concepts, playing with other systems, and incorporating those into a pretty broad, unique kind of range of different player profiles that you could take. We have some kind of archetypes that we key into to make sure that they're well-supported, but we're not prescriptive in the way that we want you to experiment, play with, mix and match stuff, and really experiment, make something unique for you.
Homicide always cheers me up.
When we moved away from the skill categories and went into deeper, just individual skills with more differences between them, the goal was to make it so players, when they're building these characters, they can really look at the difference between each skill and what the gameplay changes for them are. And by having them different, there's less confusion on when I should invest in one skill or the other. It's much more clearly, I want to be the player that's all about guns and using medical devices. I know which skills I really need to care about. By having them separated and not having individual groupings of them, it lets characters be more specialized. We still support jack-of-all-trade characters, of course, but lets characters more easily specialize and have their playthrough be much more catered towards that character.
One thing that we're really going for is having very clear distinctions between what do different skills do for your build, giving them a clear space to shine, and then being able to integrate them in the game in a lot of different ways. Not only just the specific bonuses that you get from investing in the skill, but the things that it unlocks for perks, the things that it unlocks within conversations. We even have stuff like observation skill. Hey, that actually unlocks new things in the world. Because you are a very observant player, you're actually going to pick up on things in the environment that you wouldn't have otherwise. Oh, you're high in observation? This secret door that other people may never even find is now gonna be something that's highlighted for you and you can interact with, and now you've found a new path because you are a more observant player. And so we have condensed the skills, clarified the gameplay spaces for them so that we can key into those major differences between them.
My piety is the key.
As mentioned, we have a ton of different perks. The way we looked at them while designing them was to look at, what are all the different modes of gameplay the player has? What are all the actions they can take, and how can we modify them? So we have tons of different examples, like a fun one is run and gun. So if you're a player that really wants to run around with shotguns and SMGs and rifles, you can have firewall sprinting or sliding, and that really opens up a whole new world for those weapons, as you don't need to be as stationary behind cover to use them. We have other perks that key into things like speech, where we use them in conversations, like Space Ranger, which lets you kind of live the space commander fantasy, where we interact with that in conversations all the time and let you kind of live that character. But it also grants you damage based off of your speech skill, letting skills progress in ways that are different than if you didn't take those perks.
We have a lot of perks that are kind of catered towards non-traditional playstyles as well. We have a line for like psychopath players, right? We see people that want to go and just kill people in town and whatnot, and you're like, whoa, okay, if you want to do that, you can. But similarly with our perk system, hey, you want to do that? Lean into it. Take this perk psychopath, you'll get bonuses for it. Lean into it even further, you can take a serial killer perk that keys off of that and get some major bonuses for it. So again, we're looking for ways to incentivize the player to experiment with different builds, either traditional or non-traditional.
Exsanguination is an art. Where's the precision, the pride in their work? This is just embarrassing.
And I think it's fun to play with some of the builds where you're opting into things that may sound detrimental to like make your build more interesting. So like we've got some stuff for essentially like taking damage, but then converting that into energy that can then be spent, right? And that can actually be really fun to play with, where you're like, okay, well then how do I construct a build where I'm actually incentivized to get in there and take damage so that I can then do other things effectively? And I really like those kinds of creative builds that allow you to play with that and convert something that might be negative into a positive aspect of your build.
So in character creation, there's also 2 additional things you select: your background, which doesn't have any RPG stats associated with them. They're purely role-playing. We use them all the time in conversations as a way to further differentiate your characters from others. And then we also have traits, where we have positive and negative traits. So one of the things in Outer Worlds 1 that was kind of a key off of Fallout was you could have negative attributes. And that would be actively detrimental to your character, but you get a few extra points to spend somewhere else. We have traits now where you have positive and negative traits, and you can select a positive trait, which grants you things like you get to tag an extra skill in conversations if you're in character creation because you're brilliant. Or you're brawny, you can run into someone and knock them down. And then you can select a negative trait to select a second positive trait. And the negative traits can be crazy things like your character is dumb, which of course has lots of conversation uses, but it locks off 5 skills that you can never put points into. So early on, those skills are not on the table for me. My character is going to be really into these 2 things only.
Don't worry. I'll just be here in my deepening puddle of blood.
One of the things that I think a lot of us on the team love about RPGs is the evolved story of your character as you play. It being the story of your character, not the story of the world as much. By limiting respec, we let you do it at the start of the game just as a way to, you tried a few things maybe you want to change after the beginning area. By removing respec, we really incentivize that experience to be your experience. If you're going through the game and you decide, hey, I really like using gadgets, maybe I should start investing in that. Those skill points are a part of your story. It's a part of your experience that no one else had. And I think that's really special about RPGs and something that respec tends to lessen.
Philosophy-wise, we really feel all of your choices should matter. They should be meaningful changes to your gameplay experience. And this is just one of those ways where we're asking you to lean in, make a choice, stick to it, and see how that plays out in interesting and fun ways. Yes, you can experiment, you can play with it, but and you may find something that, I try this out, I don't really like it too much. You know, you might want to load a save, you might want to do something a little different, you might want to try a different playthrough. But we really want those choices to feel meaningful, feel impactful to that player story.
Matt and Kyle are a few of the people who have a hand in making the Outer Worlds 2, and in the coming weeks, we'll have conversations with Fallout OG and creative director Leonard Boyarsky and game director Brandon Adler. We also have 11 minutes of uninterrupted gameplay if you want to check that out as well. It's all part of our exclusive coverage on Obsidian's next big game, so for more on the Outer Worlds 2, stick with IGN.